Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks to all the former subscribers, thanks to all the new subscribers. I'm definitely happy to have you here all the time, and I hope you appreciate all my new interviews. As you can guess, as you can understand, it's in the goal to always inspire the immigrant community in Canada, whether you are outside of Canada, already in Canada. We definitely hope that you will get inspired, you will get something more that can guide you in your immigration journey. So today I am with another guest. She will introduce herself, but don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to share, like, comment. Et comme vous le savez, j'essaye d'avoir un contenu bilingue. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes avec une nouvelle invitée qui va partager son histoire, son parcours d'immigration et qui est également un entrepreneur. Donc, she is an entrepreneur and she's going to share her story, how she started, how has her immigration journey been, and I definitely hope that you like it. N'hésitez surtout pas de commenter, liker, partager, les amis. On est ensemble. Donc, je vais laisser la parole à Yamini. Hello, Yamini. How are you doing?
Not bad. It's relatively warm in here, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks again for your time. I really appreciated it. So we're going to talk about, I will let you know my thought later. I forgot to let you know, but I'm definitely grateful for your presence here, and I hope we'll spend a good time together.
Ditto.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we want to start by letting you introduce yourself, your name, where you're coming from, your marital status, your professional activity, anything you feel like sharing.
Can I keep it funny?
Sure.
Well, my name is Yamini, and I'm from India. I come from this town called Kolkata or Calcutta. It's known as a city of joy back home.
Okay.
People are really nice, super sweet, sometimes too sweet, even with the food.
Okay.
I have been perpetually single at this point, which helps with working, honestly. Recommended if you're an entrepreneur. No, that was a joke. Don't take that seriously. But I came to Canada, I guess, 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
And Ottawa has always been my home. A lot of times people are like, why don't you go to Toronto? Because there's so many more Indians there.
Definitely my next question.
And to that I say, I have not come all the way from India to go to another India, because Toronto feels like mini India. It's like so many people.
Yes.
My favorite part about Ottawa really is the fact that it's such a suburban urban town where there's people, but at the same time quiet.
Yes.
So, and there's so much nature just at a hand's distance from you. You can walk 2 blocks and you'll be in a quiet. I live in Centertown downtown, which is supposed to be the craziest part of a town. But even here, at night, if you want to go for a walk, I feel comfortable doing it. In the morning when I'm walking down Bank Street.
As compared to Toronto, definitely.
People are smiling at you here in Ottawa. You don't see that in Toronto. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No bias.
Great. Okay, so why downtown or Centertown and not some other part?
So, when I first came to Canada, I was actually Ottawa. I was living in Nepean, which is a lot more suburban, mostly because of school. I came here as a student, and I was doing my MBA degree at Carleton University.
Okay.
But last year, I moved to Centertown because I started working at Ernst & Young, which was down the street, and I really wanted to show up at work every day because I really was very excited about the job. It was like a dream job in consulting with a firm that I really valued. So I really wanted to make sure that I did justice to that profession. Okay. And that's why I moved to Centertown.
Okay, so I'll say, because I know that you are an entrepreneur, but I was pretty surprised that you told me that you are doing it full time. So how does it happen for you? Because I know almost everyone, at least, will have that transition, and I'm nobody to say it's fast or slow, but to me, I would have felt like it's fast. So how does it happen that you're already full-time an entrepreneur? And maybe let us know in what domain you have your activity.
So I'm a consultant at heart. I'm still doing consulting, more on the growth strategy side of things. I work in the consumer space, so consumer insights are my strongest strength. I really like observing people, talking to people. I collect my data very primarily. So living in Centertown really helps because you meet and see and just experience so many people on a regular basis. Full-time entrepreneurship, well, it happened by chance, really. And every time I told somebody, once I became one, like, it took me a while to just embrace the idea that, okay, I'm an entrepreneur now, because I was just like experimenting with it. I was like, okay, like, you know, I've worked in startups, I've worked in big firms, I've worked in like multinational corporations, you name it, I've done it. I've tried so many industries in my life. So at this point,
not just in Ottawa.
Not in my life, like
in your life,
outside of Ottawa, before Ottawa, right now.
Okay.
And so I was like, I've tried so many things, might as well give entrepreneurship a chance. And when I started it, because I cannot, like a lot of people, you're right, they transition in a way where like they are working full time, but they start a side hustle on the side essentially. But I have never been the person who can do two things at once. Like I like multitasking, don't get me wrong, but it's like I cannot sail in two boats at once. I am very intentional with how I go about life. So when I decided that now is the time to experience or explore entrepreneurship, I was very intentional that, okay, this is the path for me. And even if I go back to working, it's mostly going to be a contract role. I'm not looking for a full-time job per se, unless it's like really something that's going to be in line with where I want to go in life, if that makes sense.
Yes, it definitely makes sense. But I guess people like me will be curious, like, to get, because you came as a student, right?
Yeah.
So to get the PR, did you have to work, or?
Yes, I just got my PR like last week. So I was on a work permit after my study permit for the longest time. It was expiring this September. And so I was a little bit stressed about that. I'm like, okay, where is this going? Am I going to pack my bags and leave? And that was another reason why after my last job, I didn't really apply for more jobs, because it was like, I may just be in this country for 3 more months, you know? So let's explore the entrepreneurship. Didn't realize that it's going to, like, I might end up getting my PR and continue with this. So yeah, I got my PR like 2 weeks ago or so.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you. So it's definitely like it shifts the way you approach life in Canada, because it gives you that sense of, okay, like, you know, there's no rush in timeline anymore, which is something I feel like us as immigrants, especially if you're on a permit, that can be a really big stressor, be it like a study permit or a work permit, because there's like so many terms and conditions applied in terms of what you can do, cannot do. As a PR holder, those restrictions tone down a lot more. So it allows you to be a little more bold with your choices, I feel.
Okay, I think it's really, really, I mean, courageous of you to say that, you know, maybe it's because you've had other experiences in life, you know, to say that, okay, I'll just start entrepreneurship no matter the result of my PR. Because I feel like even if, you know, you want to do something like outside of Canada, you still like, I want that PR. Like, I didn't come here for nothing, you know?
Well, for me, the motivation to come to Canada was not to get the permanent residence. It was to find home, because I know I'm from India and that's home for me and my family's there. But I was looking, but I've always felt a little misaligned. Generally speaking, I was looking for a community. I was looking for a place I can feel at home, if that makes sense. India is wonderful, super diverse, but a part of me I always felt like I'm missing something. And when you come to Canada, you see the word diversity takes a whole different meaning. It's like so nuanced. Like here we are, somebody from Cameroon, somebody from India, sitting in Canada, where in Ottawa, which is like the national capital of this country, and holds probably more than 40 different nationalities. So the kind of experience you can get in Canada, you cannot get it. I don't think many countries in the world can, like, you know, be boastful about that.
Yes. Well, maybe the US, I don't know.
I see the thing with US is, I'm sure you're following the news with ICE and everything else.
Yes, sure.
Like, while Canada has its own terms and conditions, you still do not feel at edge. You're comfortable in your environment. You're comfortable with the people who are surrounding you, because US is a whole different ballgame. There's a reason why I'm in Canada and not the US, even though I have some family back in US in Pacific Northwest. And my family was really like, why are you coming to this cold country, the white north, as opposed to like, you know, going somewhere that's more temperate because it's closer to the temperature I was exposed to back home. I was like, I think Canada will be a lot more friendlier. And that is why, even if there's diversity, I don't think people are like, I'm not sure, I cannot comment on what things are like in US, but I can definitely say that Canada is a lot more nuanced.
Yes.
Even from my travels, I felt that.
Okay, so first time you arrived in Canada, I don't know if you visited before. Did you visit before coming as a student?
No, Canada was like the first time I came to Canada was as a student.
Okay, perfect.
And it was it was during COVID. Actually, it was 2021 April.
Okay.
And we were still like going through those quarantine days where like, you know, you would come in the country and you have to stay in like a hotel before you're exposed to anything else for some days. And I already started
I can't believe it's been 5 years already.
I know, right? like I say 2020 like it was like last year, and then I realized, okay, it's not anymore. I've aged since, I've like grown since, I guess. but yeah, so we were in that quarantine situation, and life was very different. It was cold, but I was inside that hotel room, so like, you know, even when it would snow, I was like, it would rejoice me because this is the first time maybe not the first time, but this is like my now new life, which is going to be full of snow. And I'm like a kid who's like 3 years old at this point, feeling excited about the whole prospect, not realizing how cold can be. So that was a shock. Like the first day outside of the hotel, I was driving, a friend came to pick me up from Toronto to drive back to Ottawa because I landed in Toronto the first time I came in. It was a journey, and it was so beautiful, even if it was cold.
Yes. So since then, do you have any family in Ottawa?
No.
Yes.
I mean, friends have become family in a way.
Sure.
And that happens to a lot of immigrants, I feel. Like you come to a new country and you find your own new family.
Okay, but like how has the journey been, like before finding friends or even in the process of making those friendships? Like how has it been, apart from the cold, socially, culturally, how did you feel?
I was lucky to know one person in Canada when I came in, and he was a friend from back home. So like it helped to know somebody, and I was able to find a room in a townhouse to begin with. So I got exposure to other people, not necessarily all Indians, but like different people from different cultures, and just to understand a little bit of the way of life in Canada, like, you know, how the recycling works, which was very educational, and from that to like, you know, like how a closed home is so much different from like an open concept home, which is back home we would have like a lot of windows, a lot of ventilation. Here in the winter you can't afford to do that, so the houses are closed all the time, and that was a whole different experience because I would feel suffocated. I'm like, why is there no ventilation in these houses, you know? So that took some adjustment, but at the same time, if you would keep them open, then the heat would go up, and then the whole hydro bill would come up. So it's like so many different things that you wouldn't even consider, like the small little details that really shape your winter experience in Canada, or just like the living experience. So that was interesting. And then because I came in April, I was looking forward to the summer, which is one of the most beautiful times in Ottawa. It's like colorful, the weather is nice, a bit humid, which I'm not a fan of. It's like you're sweating, which reminded me of home, but otherwise it was interesting. And because I came to start my education, like because I came for school, I could meet a few people from school. I met some of my first friends in Canada were from my school, from my MBA program at Carleton, and through this other friend, I met a few other people. And all my life, I've always moved from place A to place B. I was a boarding school kid. So like, you know, every year we would have different people we would be exposed to. So making friends was not a big challenge for me. Which really helps in entrepreneurship, really, because you have to like scout new clients, meet new people. Networking is the key. And having that ability to just meet new people, have conversations really helped.
Okay, so my next question was not really planned, but since I discovered that you did your MBA here, I wanted to ask, so what do you think about the education system? Because like me, I did my thesis on education, and yeah, I mean, I just like it. I like to compare education systems, not because I want to find some loopholes, but I just like to know. As compared to education in India, what did you think? How did you find it, especially graduate school?
So I may not be the best person to answer that question, mostly because my program started during COVID. So it was like a hybrid model, or hyperflex is what they were calling it back in the day, which is not a traditional way of doing MBA, because one of the biggest things you can get out of the MBA program is the network that you make.
Yeah.
And because now with the COVID environment, not everybody would be comfortable coming in, and the classes would be like closed rooms again, so like there would be masks, and sometimes you would do classes online.
Even the second year you guys didn't have that?
So because it was more of a 4-term program, of which one of the terms was a co-op program, so like it was just like 16-month long, and 2 of those months was during winter. So not as much exposure. Fall was interesting. We were on campus. I did meet a lot of people. But I would say it was a very different experience. But that different also teaches you so much, right? Because my undergrad was like completely in person. The concept of doing a class online or virtually was not even a thing. And the pace at which the whole world just shifted to like, the dynamics of a virtual life, and Carleton more than anybody else, I feel, just because they had like the right equipments, the right systems, the right infrastructure in place to actually support that. And that takes like some effort. So I really appreciated the school for that, especially Sprott. Yeah, they were really on top of that.
Okay, well, that sounds good. So, yeah, regarding your business now, so it's already sure, like you will never, I mean, like for the time being, you don't want to go back to being an employee ever again?
So this is something I say never.
Yeah.
So while in an ideal world, I could just refuse and be like, no. But starting a business, there are certain realities to it. I am 3 months in, but my bottom or my net profit is marginal. It's like barely anything. And it takes a while to build your brand. It takes a while to kickstart a business. Like it's not like day one. And even if you have a client, sometimes the turnaround period for those contracts is like so long that getting the income or the revenue generation from day one is not it's not even about guarantees. It's like in some cases it's a given that that's not going to happen. So it takes a while to build that up. And if you have the right resources or like the safety net to go forward and do that, or the savings to back you up, that's great. Like right now, a lot of my life is going through my savings because I'm like still building it. I'm not necessarily generating the kind of revenue that will allow me to just live that frivolous life that I would have otherwise, in a paycheck job. So I don't know yet. I'm still building it. I'm still running it. A lot of it is from my savings. I will start deciding whether I want to go back to working for somebody else, maybe like in 4 months' time.
Okay, so am I understanding well? You are 3 months in?
Yes.
Okay.
Like 3 to 4 months in, yes.
3 to 4 months. Oh, wow. All right. So when did I meet you again?
You met me 2 months ago.
Just 2 months?
Yes.
It feels like 3 months already.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
You met me September end. So it's been, so it's like 27th September, I want to say.
Yeah, wow. Time flies. I just felt like it's been a long time.
Yes,
yes.
Yes, so much must have happened.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I would have thought maybe like 1 year already, but I definitely admire, we can see like right from your attitude that it looks like not it looks like, you know what you're talking about when you explain it, but it looks like you've been in like for a long time.
That's actually very funny because every time I meet someone from my previous life, like from like my MBA program or elsewhere, and I tell them, okay, now I'm an entrepreneur, and they're like, it's like they saw it coming. They're like, finally, or like about time,
Time. Okay.
And I didn't realize it, but like people like even at work, they would comment that I have this entrepreneurial spirit. And I would think that that's just something you have to have, right? Like you have to take initiation. You have to like make sure that like you have to go forward and do things, take those steps to like, make a difference at any workplace. But a lot of times that's very latent in people who are employees to an organization, as opposed to, like, if it's your own organization. Like, as a business person or a leader, you are typically more entrepreneurial because your paycheck's on the line. If you don't do those things, if you don't run around, if you don't get shit done, then, like, you're not really getting that revenue in the bank and, like, making ends meet. But as an employee, there's, like, that constant that comfort zone where, like, irrespective of whether I increase those numbers in the sales book, or, like, whether I give my 100%, I will be getting that paycheck at the end of the day. That mindset's changing, don't get me wrong, with like AI coming in, organizations doing reorgs, and all the other changes that we're seeing in our environment right now. The labor market's in a tricky space. And moving forward, if you're not entrepreneurial, it's going to be a lot more challenging, even from an employee perspective, to, like, continue at a similar pace. So the world's definitely changing, but yeah, no, I have always been entrepreneurial as a person. It's just, so far I was doing it for somebody, because loyalty to me comes easily when I'm being loyal to someone. I don't know if it's cultural, but now I've started to be more loyal to myself and just do myself more justice, I guess.
Yes. Okay, that's nice. Well, I definitely think anyway that you can also be entrepreneurial in a different way at the workplace. Well, we'll talk about that maybe in another episode. Just mentioning, yes, because I also listen to a lot of leadership stuff, because I also had a guest. He was talking about having your own intellectual property as a person, right? So even at the workplace, you can develop that. Okay, so let's move on. So yes, why did you choose the industry or the domain, the particular industry in consulting that you're doing, and not something based on Indian stuff, for example? Why did you choose that part, like growth and stuff? Why did you choose that? Or how did it come up?
I used to say this a lot back at my old firm, that I'm a consultant at heart. Now, my very first job back in India was in a startup, and I was working, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do back then. So I was like, okay, I'll be trying a bunch of different things and I'll figure it out. But I wanted to work in the HR space. And so that was interesting, but the firm was, like, really small. Startups don't necessarily need an HR. They need somebody who can get business. They need somebody who can get shit done. So you would do, like, a lot of different things. Like, if there's something that needs doing, you do it. That's a very startup approach, and I really thrived in it. I enjoyed the pace of it. I enjoyed doing multiple things, and that just took me on, like, through my career. Like, at every different stage, at every different job, I would seek that constant, like, change in things or different things at different times. And that is why when you ask what industry, I'm not industry specific. I'm a generalist consultant, which is very unique to consulting, because typically when you speak with a consultant, they would be like, okay, this is the industry that I specialize in. And I've always perpetually had that question, is it better to be a specialist or a generalist? And yesterday I was at this TEDx talk at Mechanicsville, Bayview Yards, where we met in West Ottawa. And one of the talks was actually about generalists and how generalists are changing the world. So I'm a generalist consultant, not industry specific, but I work in the consumer space, which is basically people like you and me. So any product that works with consumers as an end goal is where I work, because I'm a very curious, observant person. So it allows me to ask questions, observe people, and more than that, ask the right questions at the right time to the right people. So that helps me gather those insights, connect those dots that people who are maybe, like, knee deep in a specific industry, like financial services or investment or insurance, or even like something like power and utilities. They might be, like, laser focused on that specific industry, but I am a generalist where I'm able to see, like, automobile industry is going to be impacted by power and utilities because the amount of electricity is going to impact EVs in a certain way in the near future. That somebody who are, like, laser focused on those specific industries may not be able to, like, think of in those lines, essentially.
Okay, but, like, did you get all of that? It's very, very interesting. But at the same time, when you talk, it's like, it's very specific, because you know where you're going. I mean, it's not industry specific, but, like, what you actually do is very specific. So, I mean, did you get that idea from everything you learned from your MBA, or would you say like your whole life experience?
I have tried many different professions in my life, and at my last job, I realized, okay, this is what I love doing. I love consulting. I love working in consulting space because it's the best of both worlds. And by that I mean sales and research. Those are the two fields that I really love. And it's not just sales like door-to-door sales. It's consultative sales. It's based on building those relationships. It's relationship-based sales, where you're like building a relationship with somebody, understanding their problems and solving it.
Yes.
And that's my favorite part about consulting. And I realized it over the course of my career, where like, you know, all the roles that I was doing was like, what were the things that I was enjoying about those roles? It was speaking with people, meeting people, understanding what needs solving, creating processes for them, or like being creative with my solutions. That was my favorite part. That made me like, you know, and even right now, like I don't necessarily introduce myself as a consultant always. I sometimes say I'm a growth strategist or sometimes a generalist, but at the core of it, it's consulting that I do.
Yes. Oh, it's very cool, a growth strategist. It sounds cool anyway, but from what you describe, it's definitely a lot of work, you know. Well, a lot of creativity too, but I guess like, you know, once you've mastered what you're doing, it becomes like,
like anything in life, right? If you're doing something enough, like today I went for my 4th session of badminton with my friends. Today I was able, like my friends were like, oh, you've really improved. And I was like, okay, yeah, like, you know, the first day like compared to that day, I've come a long way, because like when you keep practicing something, it like your body learns what mistakes you're making, even if you're not as intuitive or attentive of those. Your body is learning through actions, through reactions of people around you. And because I've been entrepreneurial all my life almost, with every work that I've done, startup really pushes you to be entrepreneurial, really. So it helped me to actually, I guess, it made me better at being an entrepreneur in many ways, because I've been practicing it for the last 7 years at this point.
Yes.
So that helps, I guess. Practice makes perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Still practicing.
Okay. Yeah, we're still practicing. So, still talking about entrepreneurship. So, will you say that you got some help from organizations, some people that you're particularly grateful to? You know, I mean, I know it's it's a startup, but like so far, or even when you were getting ready to start the business, like, did you get any help at all?
So the thing was, like, I know I mentioned that I just jumped into entrepreneurship, but I think I had it in me to actually want to explore it, because even before I started my own thing, I would go to these events that Carla hosts, the immigrant entrepreneur events, essentially, to meet other entrepreneurs, to hear their story. And like there I met a few other people that I helped when I was like, you know, working for my last firm at EY. I hosted this event for women entrepreneurs. And those were some of the women, once I got out of my 9-to-5 job and started exploring entrepreneurship, I reached out to them to get their insights of like, you know, how to explore entrepreneurship, or like try to seek other people who are entrepreneurs to just understand what is entrepreneurship like. And then my firm was kind enough to pay for like a business coach of sort, who also, like, you know, sometimes when you're like having a conversation with somebody about these things, they act like a soundboard, and you're able to, when you hear yourself talk, you're able to get a better picture of what it is that you're doing. So I've been fortunate to have like a lot of conversations in the last 5 months at this point from various different people. And every conversation, even if it's not going to be completely applicable to your own life, teaches you a few little things. You just have to pick and choose what it is that you want to carry forward.
Yes.
And it's all about, like, you know, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable in conversation, being open to, like, it's okay that, like, you know, I'm here at this stage of my life. It's not going to be pretty always, and it's in the messy between that you actually grow as a person.
Yeah.
So those conversations helped. Meeting new people helped. Just being openly curious helped.
But I feel like, anyway, on my side, I feel like networking, I mean, like those kind of events, when there are too many people, I feel like, you know, it's difficult anyway. It takes time to learn from a lot of people. So